Okay.
How's it going, my comic chat? I'm here today with Richard Zerga and Batz. How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. So y'all are the creators of Taffy T Clown, right?
That's correct.
All right. How many issues do you have out right now?
We have 4 that's out and 5 hits. Start shipping next week. Issue 5. The first 3, they've been out of print since 2015.
Yeah.
We had a different project called Goldilocks and Zombieland, and that went from 3 issues to 17 issues. And Batty fell behind on her title, Kitty and Bats, and I fell behind on Taffy, and we made some adjustments. So here comes Taffy.
Nice. So you're the writer and she's the artist?
On issue number 4, I was the writer and the artist, and you helped fill in some blanks.
On the first one?
On some of the writing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then
I just went over it on the computer for the inking. And then you did the lettering, and then he does the covers, and then I do the color on the covers.
Okay. Do y'all have any Comic-Cons that you're planning to attend right now?
we actually did our first one almost 5 years last month.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a small convention in Tucson, Arizona, TCAT Expo, Tucson Comic and Toy Expo, and it was a blast. It's been a while. We actually got away from conventions for a long time because of the time and the money for the setup and the travel. We don't fly, so every convention we go to, we drive. And it was the first out-of-state 13-hour drive one way we'd done before, and it was yikes. But yeah.
It was nice, but we won't be doing that drive again. It was nice to meet everyone that supported us for the last couple of years. The people that run TCAT, a lot of artists that are there. We've met before, and others we've met the first time. Very sweet people. It was worth the drive, but just not worth to do it again.
Yeah.
So did y'all drive the whole 13 hours, then like stay the night and go to the con and drive immediately back?
We actually went down about 3 days before.
Yeah.
Went down about 3 days before to kind of do a little bit of networking. But yeah, we drove straight through, stayed, and then we drove straight back.
Yeah, we drove back the morning after the convention.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tried the same day. Yeah.
Wow, that must have been tough. So really quick, I noticed Taffy T number 4. I'm seeing the covers right now. One's a normal pumpkin and one's a head. Whose head is that?
I pulled when I draw, I have to have a reference in front of me. For all these years, I cannot draw without a reference. So I just pulled some guy's head off the internet. And then the pumpkin one, I drew a variation because that was one that we offered as an exclusive to comic shops and online sellers and everything. So they could actually get the name of their company or their online store, whatever they do, on the inside. And I think we only charged $50 for that.
I think so.
And they ended up getting 10 copies, and then they get their own exclusive, basically, that they can sell. And it was expensive, but yeah, I just drew the pumpkin, and Batty went into Photoshop and did all the artwork and the glow effect and everything for the title of their website, the name of the company, whatever it was.
Wow.
So that was.
Are you offering that for issue 5? Well, I guess you can't do it now for 5, or are you offering that?
Oh yeah.
For 6? Yeah,
we have for 5, for 6. The nice thing, the comics that we do aren't your usual 22, 30-page comics, because a printer we use, turnaround time is 3 to 4 days. Downside is they're a little pricier.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of other places out there that are less expensive but the minimums are 200, 250, and we did, I think we ended up sending like 12 different covers for all the incentives,
it was a lot.
exclusives. So to do 250 at a pop for 12 different covers, there's no way. So we've got to pay a little bit more, offer the reader a little bit less as far as the stories, and just hope there's some understanding there.
Yeah. We do have it as an option for issue 5 is what's being printed now. We didn't have any takers, so we're actually not printing them. We do have we have how would you describe it? We have a variant.
Yeah, so the variant that we were supposed to use, Batty did, and that's of Slutzel the Clown. And we got booted off. Actually, there was somebody in a comic group that got upset that Slutzel the Clown has something to do with comic books. And then I got into it with a moderator, and I ended up blocking the site. But it's based on a design we did for Chuck Jarman. It was actually an oversized latex mask, and that was Slutzo. It's no longer being mass produced, but Chuck still does. And I know it's on our Instagram, but it still does life-size busts and life-size of Slutzo. And so Batty did the Slutzo. That's our variant cover. And on her shirt is a great big sun. So what we were going to do was, if anybody decided to do that and have the name of their company, shoot or remove the sucker and then put the name of the company or their logo or whatever it is on Slutzo's t-shirt.
Nice. Do you have a website, or how can people reach out to you if they want to do that?
Oh, definitely. It's Legends Studios. So there's 2 S's there. Legends Studios, LHVP.store. And all the masks, all the original, well, not all the original art yet. We have a lot more going up next Saturday.
Yeah.
But all the comics that we have available. And then issue 5, there's some pre-orders up there. All the rest of the tiers that we're offering will be up this weekend, because we didn't go through Indiegogo. We don't go through Kickstarter. We kind of do our own thing.
It's like a self-crowdfunding thing.
It's our non-Kickstarter Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So what we do is we offer everybody the tiers, and they're ongoing. So if anybody can't or misses out, they don't actually miss out. There's a couple,
depending on the tier.
Yeah,
there's a few of like the covers.
Yeah.
Or pages from the actual comic that obviously if you miss out, you miss out. But like the bundle packs of like the exclusive covers, that's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Pins until they run out, that's an ongoing thing. Just unless it's like a one of, it's an ongoing tier option for 4 and 5.
Yeah, and we'll do it the same way. And the reason we do that is because we pay for everything up front. So when the orders come in, they just go out.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything, we're going to be picking up everything this week from the printer. Shipping to retailers will be happening on Thursday. So all the retailers will have them first. And then on the 28th, we'll be live for the launch of Taffy T Clown Presents issue number 5. And that's when everybody who has not done their pre-orders, and they're all getting a little something extra that's not going to be offered starting the 28th, which reminds me to do this week. Oh, God.
Where is the live going to be? Do you do it on Instagram, Facebook?
It's Facebook. It's going to be we've tried it on the Legends page, but a lot of the people that follow us don't follow us on our Legends page. So I do it on my page, Richard Zerga. And we'll be doing, let's see, so Saturday is the first one, next one. So Tuesday we'll do an ad, because this coming Saturday, the 23rd, it's our 4th annual Facebook Live Halloween show. And that'll be Saturday. And then on the 28th will be the Taffy launch for issue 5.
Okay. Where do y'all get your creative process from? Or where do you draw inspiration from?
It's definitely different for both of us. Did you want to go first?
I
Or you want?
Mine has kind of like changed over the years. I definitely grew up on anime and pulled influence from that in the beginning. Not so much anymore. I don't really have like a specific thing. I don't really get any inspiration from music, although I listen to it to kind of help get the mood going when I'm working. As far as inspiration, I don't really have anything anymore. Unless it's like a specific piece by like Norman Rockwell or Olivia. I don't really get that much inspiration from comics or anime anymore. Normally it's just like real life references or more realistic references. I wish I had his name. There's an artist that I found, and he has a really nice like cross-hatching, not quite as elaborate as Bernie Wrightson, but it has kind of like gothic feel to it, and that's kind of like something I want to try coming up, and that's probably where my new inspiration is going to be coming from. But overall, I get an idea and I just kind of run with it. That's basically how mine works.
For me, it's been EC Comics. A lot of the pre-code comic books, Gassy Graham Ingalls, Feldman, Wallace Woods, Johnny Craig, all the guys from the EC days.
Oh, Gustave Doré.
Gustave Doré.
He's a good one.
Yeah. But when I was growing up in high school, you didn't do comic book art. It was frowned upon. It was poo-poo. You don't do comic book art. You only do fine art. And so I never had a chance to do it. In 2005, my oldest daughter wanted to do a manga for her high school project. And so we kind of jumped all onto that, and I'm like, hey, this is kind of fun. I've never drawn comic book characters before, but this is fun. But with my growing up, and I know a lot of folks and a lot of famous artists started in fine art and made the transition, I had a very hard time. And it wasn't until I saw Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein, and I was like, this is it right here. And then I was like, wait a minute. He was working on a lot of the Warren stuff back in the day and Swamp Thing. I'm going to go back and revisit EC Comics. And then everything started. And of course, a lot of movies, a lot of the Universal movies, Hammer, American International, a lot of the far, far below the B horror movies. You know, you're talking Z and Double Z, pretty bad stuff. Herschel Gordon Lewis stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a certain phrase or something like that. Oh, that's going to make a great story. And that's, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We've read and reviewed the book. We absolutely like it. But is it, anybody can pick up any issue, right? Like they don't have to start with 1 and go to 5?
That is correct. Yeah. And that was one of the reasons we did it. And we had a hard time with Goldilocks when we were doing that with creator and writer Jeff Hughes. Originally we jumped on the project. It was supposed to be 4 issues. He rewrote it and it became 17. And unfortunately got to the point when we got around 5. Oh, we got to do another Goldilocks issue.
Yeah.
It was difficult. And the nice thing with using EC Comics and the Warren stuff, you have self-contained stories. A character may carry over, or your narrator, like the old hag or the crypt keeper, would carry over.
Yeah.
That makes it more enjoyable because you have an immediate finish line, and that's why we do EC in the same vein as EC Comics. If you miss issue 4, if you miss issue 5, you may not be able to pick up issues 1, 2, or 3. You haven't missed anything.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So how is it working with family?
We have our studio here. We had a massive scare with our Mac. We did an update.
Yeah.
And the update dumped everything, or so we thought. So that was almost 8 years of work gone. Yeah, so Batty, getting a MacBook Pro, she goes to the dining room now, and that's her little studio. And it's been kind of rough on me because I can't look over her shoulder.
No, it's been great.
And look over her shoulder and go, wait a minute, that's kind of a different hue. Oh, try a highlight, try a gradient. Put it back to the way it was. It was fine.
Yeah, so ever since I moved out into the dining room, it's been great because he doesn't look over my shoulder and mess with me now. Because now he can't, and it's great.
That's normally what we never had. We bounce ideas of each other, panels off. And I don't know how a lot of people, one person comes to mind is Joe Benitez. I don't know how he can work by himself. You know, he does the right.
I don't know how anyone can do any of this crap all by themselves. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, you get stuck. You get to bounce the concept off of. When you're writing something, if the panels aren't working, it's been great camaraderie. You know.
I think another good thing is that at least with us, we're also able to separate the business part from the family part. So it's not really like working with family. It is, but we don't mix the two, if that makes sense. Whereas, yeah.
Well, I'm not like, what? I'm the dad, and it's going to have to be this way.
Yeah, it's not like that.
No.
Okay. Wow. All right. And you have a comic book out too, right? Is it
it's still on the website, yeah.
Yeah. It's a couple years old. I haven't really had a chance to get back to the series itself, but I have been able to actually introduce it in issue 5. That's going to be shipping next week. So it's going to be the first time that my characters show up in his comic. And in order to kind of blend in with his style, I mimicked his style so that it's not so jarring when you turn the page and then it's like, oh, it's my story. And so I do a lot of cross-hatching, and it's also in black and white when I normally work in color. So it was a lot of fun, and I think the theming matches it because my story is also, and my characters are not really horror, but it's definitely dark comedy. So the theming kind of matches, and my story is kind of horror.
Yeah, it kind of falls.
It's definitely comedic.
Yeah, it definitely falls in the vein of Goldilocks and Zombieland, where it's a take on nursery rhymes and old storybook stuff. And her story is called
The Muffin Man.
Muffin Man, the old nursery rhyme. It's just she's expanded a bit.
Yeah, there was I think it was a creepypasta a while back where there was like a story where there was an actual Muffin Man in London, and he actually used his muffins to lure kids and killed the kids, and this whole thing. So I just took that idea and kind of just ran with it. So the whole thing is like the nursery rhyme expanded upon, narrated by my characters.
Nice. And what is your social medias that you use?
Mine?
Yeah.
Or his?
So we're on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter. I don't do a lot on Twitter. It seems to get lost with all the political wranglings and everything. So, I get on there because I follow a lot of the Hammer pages, a lot of the horror pages and stuff like that. So if I see them tweet, but mostly it's Facebook, Instagram. We'll be doing more YouTube this coming year, fortunately. And we still need to try to get onto Twitch. There's just not all of us that are on Twitch. So it's been put kind of on the back burner.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any advice for any new comic book creators out there?
Patience. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The P's, patience and practice and promote. We've been doing this since
2008.
I think it's been 2008.
It's been at least 10 years. I think it's like 12 years now. Yeah.
And we've met a lot of people in the conventions over the years that they'll spend a lot of time and a lot of money getting their comic book out, and they'll sell 10 copies, and oh my gosh, I can't believe I only sold 10 copies, and it's the greatest thing written. And Like, you don't understand. When you're an artist, Allie, you've got 75 to 100 other people doing exactly like you, and you've got to do something. Got to interact with you've got to get out there. You've got to talk people. You have to approach it like a business.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons that we've done so well. And there's been a few other people we've met over the last 15, 20 years. Those people are still around because they view it as a business. And I understand you would be passionate about your art, you would be passionate about your comics. You need to view it as a business. Otherwise, you're going to go the way of the dodo bird. You'll be gone.
I think the other thing with us being in this for like 12 years, and I have trial and error. So if something doesn't work out, it's not a bad thing. It's just, lesson learned. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
And because like we've had a lot, like compared to where we are now to the first time we had a comic printed, which was printed at Kinko's, and we had to staple it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, not doing that again, but trial and error, and it's gonna happen. So
Didn't even fit in the bag and board. We're just like, here.
And I think another thing is to try not to get discouraged if things don't take off right away, because they probably won't, and that's okay, because especially in the indie field right now, it's really picking up. So now it's really competitive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So just try and stay a little consistent and don't get discouraged, because it kind of weighs on you sometimes. But it's it's business.
Yeah, and you've got to separate your personal feelings from the business, because a lot of people, they'll put their stuff out there and you'll get one or two comments and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that about nobody's attacking you personally. It
Right.
is, you got to view it as a profession, and you're going to get criticisms.
Yeah.
I remember all the years, we've talked with Ron Lim, we've talked with Terry Shoemaker, Joe Weems, Chris Marinan. We've talked to a lot of the guys that live around us in the field, and they're always positive. They give you good feedback. With us, when we ask for honest feedback, we want honest feedback.
Yeah.
And there were times like, no, you don't understand. We want honest feedback.
And then they're like, okay, well, actually, you can work on your paneling, your lettering, and this and this and this. And it's like, yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah. So you're gonna have people just hating on your stuff for no reason, because that's how people are. But you also kind of need to be open to criticism, especially if you're putting your work out there. It's gonna happen, but it's okay to actually ask for constructive criticism. Was what I was looking for, because it's a good way to actually help build your skill and get better. So be open to criticism too, is what I was saying.
Right.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all coming to take the time to talk with me today.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the review of the comic. That was fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for sending us a copy. We really enjoyed it. We're gonna have to pick up number 5 now.
It's
Thank
coming
you.
soon. We'll make sure